Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
What's up, guys? Over to the Courtside Soundoff podcast. I'm Josh Evanoff. He's Angel Ortega, and we have a lot to talk about today. UFC, Conor McGregor announcing his return. The NBA, there's a lot to talk about in the world going on over there. Boxing, the Ortiz recap. We're going to talk about some of the biggest fights of this year and next year, and the news that Floyd Mayweather is officially returning in 2020. Before we get into that, I want to shout out Amazon. Amazon, one of our wonderful sponsors that help us each and every single week, giving you a great, wonderful podcast, or a slightly average podcast, depending on your opinion of us. If you want to go through the link on the podcast page or the YouTube page, buy something to help support us. You can help yourself well. It's Black Friday, and it's going to be Cyber Monday after that, so get yourself something nice. Go out and go shopping. We'll talk about our other sponsor, Target, and help us with Black Friday deals there in a bit. But for right now, I just want to thank Amazon for supporting the podcast as always. UFC yesterday, actually it was the night before, to officially clear something up. Former writer for Courtside Press actually broke the news that Conor McGregor's return was official. It was signed. It was a done deal for January T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. That opponent being the one and only Donald Cowboy Cerrone. We've heard about the talk for a long time now. I'd say the majority of this year about the Conor fight. It did not come to fruition. There were negotiation issues. There was an injury suffered by Conor where he broke his hand in training. And they were originally targeting, Conor to come back in December on the 245 card happening in a couple weeks. But they couldn't get him on there. It was 2-packed, 3 title fights. Conor wasn't going to main event over those. So they made this pay-per-view specifically for him. They built it up, put it in the T-Mobile Arena. It's as big of an arena as they can do. And they gave him an opponent that he has a previous history with Cowboy. I remember 4 years ago watching Conor, who was a featherweight at the time. He was going to fight Jose Aldo for the undisputed title, because this was after he'd already beat Mendez. And him and Donald going back and forth on stage, talking shit to one another. And I remember Donald told him to keep his skinny ass down at 145. Well, Conor came up to 155, won the title that Cerrone was in, and Cerrone's gone back and forth. He went to 170, went to 155. He's bounced back and forth. This fight's going to take place at 170, and I guess, Angel, I'm going to get your initial reaction of the big news, because I know you and I have followed Conor McGregor's career for the most part. You kind of started watching the sport around the time that he broke into the scene and broke into the mainstream. What do you think about the news that he's coming back against Cowboy Cerrone in January?
Dude, it's crazy. I was on Twitter pretty actively that whole day, and I'd seen the rumors, Instagram, Twitter, everything for quite a while, and then finally once I saw, I want to say Bleacher Report or a number of other official kind of outlets kind of put it out there. I was like, oh shit, it's time, and obviously the old clip of Cowboy talking, with Conor back and forth at that event against Aldo, obviously that it just. It was funny. It was set up then, and then finally we're getting it years later. And I mean, what can I say? It's about to be a good fight. So I'll look up the betting odds here quickly, because there's actually something pretty interesting, right? Or at least some interesting numbers that I wanted to bring up. Last time we brought up betting odds for Logan Paul versus KSI, but I kind of want to look them up here quickly at some point if I can for this, because I thought they were kind of interesting. But overall, man, I think it should be exciting. I'm sure the undercard will be great. And I'm sure the payday will be great for Cowboy.
Yeah, it'll be great for him. He's going to get that red panty night.
There you go.
I actually saw the betting line come out, but I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. Do you have that pulled up yet?
I'm looking for it. I just passed it. They have another. For some reason, they have Conor versus Justin here for some reason.
That was the rumored fight, if the Cowboy one wasn't going to come together.
Okay, so right now as it stands for Bet Online, non-sponsored, by the way, Cowboy's at a plus 490, and then Conor's at minus 225.
I'd say that's pretty accurate.
There you go. And obviously, this could change at any point. Because, betting lines just change. But as it stands right now, that's what it's at.
I expect after, press conferences and weigh-ins, I honestly expect Conor to become an even bigger favorite. But the fight is really interesting to me because stylistically speaking, this is a tailor-made fight for Conor, and that's not to crap on Donald Cerrone because I love Cowboy, everybody loves Cowboy, and his kicks are ruthless. He's a monster on the ground. He's an underrated monster on the ground too. The guy's ruthless. And obviously he's had a lot of great wins, great performances, especially lately after he became a father. Dad Cerrone is almost unstoppable. But, he did lose to Gaethje, he did lose to Ferguson. And if there's one style, there's one mark for Cowboy. It's been that he kind of struggles in the big fights, and he struggles against southpaws with knockout power who come on quickly. And that's literally describing Conor McGregor. But also, Conor McGregor hasn't won a fight in 3 or 4 years now, which is really crazy to think about. His last one was UFC 205. And, obviously he lost to Floyd, which I don't think anybody really cares. That was just a glorified exhibition. But he lost to Floyd in boxing, and then he lost to Khabib. And we don't know where he is at this point because he's still only 31 years old, but he hasn't been actively competing. But honestly, if Conor comes in at even 50% of what he was against Eddie Alvarez in his last win 3 years ago, I think he gets to win.
What's up? And do you think it'll be a 5-round or three-rounder?
It's confirmed main event, so I'm assuming it should be 5, but also this is pretty short notice.
Now, do you think does the 5-round benefit probably Cowboy or Conor?
Oh, absolutely. I think it benefits Cowboy.
I was gonna say, I feel like it benefits Cowboy. As you've seen those late rounds for Conor, it's been something dreadful. Do you think, going into the fight, if Cowboy's able to, make it pretty, make it the distance, obviously him stay in it and perform, he can maybe win in a way like that? Or do you think it's going to kind of have, a different couple aspects about it that are going to have to go a certain way for Cowboy to take the victory?
I think for Cowboy to take the victory, Conor's going to have to come in the way that he's been acting. The way he's been kind of not really been in the fight game, the way he kind of has 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I think if Conor gets fully reinvested, and he said he's treating 2020 like a season. That's a word that he did a press conference not that long ago in Russia, where he said he was treating 2020 like a season, how football, sports have a season. And he's treating it like a season. He wants to have 3 fights, and he wants to stay active because he stays active, he keeps in training, he's more focused. If Conor comes in focused in the way that he was determined, and the way John Kavanagh, I saw him talking about how focused Conor has been, it's the first time we've seen him this focused in a long time, I think that Cowboy is going to get murked. But honestly, if Conor doesn't, Cowboy's going to come in with his A game, because this is his big moment. This is his Nate Diaz moment. This is his moment to become a giant star, to get all that money.
Again.
I mean, pretty much, yeah.
All right. That's what I want to know, man. I don't know. I agree with you. I think no matter what, I don't think it'll be an easy fight for anyone. You know what I mean? There's a lot on the line for both. You know what I mean?
I'm honestly expecting a war. A lot of people just think either Cowboy's gonna get walked down and knocked out, or Cowboy's gonna, dominate him in a lopsided decision. I think it's gonna be a war. I think these guys are a lot closer right now than people think.
I think than ever, I think at this point in their careers, they're both in a very interesting moment. Cowboy, kind of having not necessarily a revival of his career, but kind of an upside recently, right? And then and then defying the quality of opponents he's had, you know what I mean, recently? Back to back to back. Cowboy's last 4 or 5 fights are all against really good people, insanely good people. Not even his last 5, probably his last 10, realistically, right?
Yeah, I can run down something like his last 10. Masvidal, Waller, Darren Till, Yancy Medeiros, who was still ranked at that time. Leon Edwards, Mike Perry, Alexander Hernandez, Ali Aquinta, Tony Ferguson, Justin Gaethje. Off the top of my head, every single one of those guys are ranked, and Yancy Medeiros and Mike Perry were the only 2 outside of the top 10. Leon Edwards, Jorge Masvidal are on the bridge of a title shot. Darren Till did get a title shot. Robbie Lawler is a former champion. Tony Ferguson's getting a title shot. Justin Gaethje's on the border. Ali Aquinta got a title shot. He's faced the best of the best.
And now he has to take on Conor fucking McGregor at this point in his life to top it off. Isn't that something right there? That's actually an amazing way. That's an amazing resume. Wins or losses in there in between. It's just the fact that he faced those people. All respects to Cowboy, always entertaining us. So no matter what, the fight's gonna be amazing. And I think that's like one of the more important things is that a fight should just entertain people more than anything.
Yeah, I think that fight's going to be a banger. But listen, Angel, I got to give you some credit on this one, because I'm sure that you knew whenever you predicted Donald Cerrone would beat Al Iaquinta. I'm sure you knew that a year later, not even a year later, a couple months later, we'd be sitting here talking about Cerrone and McGregor. I'm sure you knew that, right?
Dude, the whole Conor thing was a big deal, because Conor was still ranked. It was like, is Conor versus Cowboy gonna happen? And then remember?
He lost twice.
Yeah. And then what was the big thing? It was like who's the big thing? Who's Cowboy gonna fight? Is he gonna fight Tony? Is he gonna fight Justin? Is he gonna fight Conor? And that was the big rumor at the time, because they were trying to figure that out. And I was like, first of all, I don't think the Conor fight should happen right now. I feel like it makes sense, but I don't want it to happen. And I was like, Tony, I don't think Tony should, because Tony should already have that title shot. I was like, Justin should be the fight. Obviously, that did happen eventually. Not at the time I wanted, but it happened. And now, we're getting that Conor fight. We got all three of those fights, actually. I just thought about that. Never mind. No matter what, it didn't matter what reality we were in. We got all those outcomes, so there you go. Just thought about that. So there you go.
Well, sorry. Go ahead.
And there you go. We're about to have it here not too long from now. Honestly, that's really not a long time from now. And it happened.
Yeah, it's like 6 weeks away, but I know a lot of people have been shitting on this fight, and like just on Twitter, MMA Twitter and Reddit, I'd say are some of the big ones. I see like more in the mainstream, people don't care as much, but a lot of people are like, why didn't he fight Gaethje? And I could be the only one that thinks this way, and I want to get your opinion about it, obviously, but like, my viewpoint is, why would Conor come back? And all people are like, he's getting an easy fight. I'm like, first of all, Donald Cerrone's an easy fight for no one. And then second of all, why would Conor McGregor come back to fight a guy who's on the verge of a title shot? Because everybody's complaining how he gets title shots, right? People complain that he comes back and is immediately in the title picture. But why would you want him to fight a guy that's about, on the border of a title shot? Teddy Ferguson didn't exist, then Gaethje's getting that title shot. And fighting a guy who was right there instead of a guy, because Conor hasn't won since 2016. It makes more sense for him to fight a guy like Cerrone, who's been up and down, but still in the top 5, rather than a guy like Gaethje, who's currently streaking.
No, those are facts, bro. Those are big facts.
Because Conor hasn't won in 3 years.
And then he's fighting someone who's still, ranked 4th, 5th, right?
5th.
Yeah, and has probably been fighting the best people recently. It is a pretty good fight that'll test him. I think it's a good fight for him, because it'll make him gauge where he's at right now. You know what I mean? I feel like that'll really give him that good idea of where he's at that point in that moment. In his skills and everything, make sure he's polished all around. So I agree with the fight. I think if they would have given him anybody less, it wouldn't have been I don't know. Kevin Lee, do you really think, I don't think I would have enjoyed Kevin Lee versus Conor, you know what I mean? And no hate to Kevin Lee, he had, a pretty nice win recently. And he fought Habib on short notice and went to distance, so credit to him for that, too. But, I don't know, I feel like this actually makes sense. Okay, Conor wasn't moved from the rankings, but in reality, he probably should have for being inactive, and he's finding a guy who's near that area and, would make him go forward and fight someone else who's in title contention, if not and already has the title. So I agree with the fight. I think it was actually really nicely set up by the UFC.
Yeah, I'm not always on the UFC's side, but I'm completely in favor of this fight, because, like I said, I did not like the Gaethje fight, just for a lot of reasons. I think Gaethje deserved someone better. I think he deserves Poirier, because Poirier just come off a title shot. Poirier has won meaningful. He was the interim champion. I think Gaethje deserves that fight, and then deserves a title shot. But whatever. Real quick to run down this card. This card looks pretty interesting. I'm a big fan of this card, the way they're building it, because what they have is they don't have any title fights, and they're not going to have any title fights. They stacked everything on 245, and then now they're stacking everything on 247 with Jones and Reyes and Shevchenko's fighting on that one. But this one has a lot of the young prospects, a lot of people you guys should watch out. Maurice Green is not, a young guy, but he's a guy I like a lot at heavyweight, and he's facing Alexei Oleinik. I think that fight's going to be awesome. Anthony Pettis is back. He's taking on Diego Ferreira. And Ferreira's streaking right now. He looks great, and that fight's going to be a banger. Andre Feely and Sodiq Yusuff, two really good prospects. I'd say Feely's not as much of a prospect, but he's still pretty young. Macy Barber is an awesome, awesome prospect. I think that girl's going to be champion relatively soon. And then my boy Nasrat Hakparast, the Kelvin Gastelum lookalike, is taking on Drew Dober. And that guy's only 24, and he's won his last 3 fights. He's looked amazing. So there's a lot of good prospects on that card, and it's going to get a lot of exposure because it's a Conor event. So I like that card so far a lot.
That's what's up. That's good. And they still have yet to announce many people, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, there's only like 6 or 7 fights announced. There's a rumor that I actually heard about. I don't remember who said it, but it might have been Joe Rogan. I don't want to misquote anyone. But what I heard is that Jorge Masvidal wants to fight Nick Diaz on that card.
Holy shit.
I don't know if that's true, because I don't know if that's, but I know somebody said it. It might have been Schaub. It might have been Brendan Schaub. It was somebody in that whole scene, maybe Chael Sonnen. I don't know. It was somebody in that scene that says Jorge wants to fight Nick on the co-main. And that makes a lot of sense, at least to me personally, considering,
Smart move.
I think Jorge probably fights Conor after this. That's what I think.
Because then we would theorize that Jorge would win again?
Yeah.
So there you go. That'd be a massive event too, right there, dude. Like, just those two people, like think about it. Nate and fucking Jorge, and then right afterwards you get Cowboy versus Conor in this epic return. Like, holy shit.
I'm not sure if I want to see that fight, though, Nick versus Jorge. I mean, I loved Nate versus Jorge, but Nick, I'm not sure if you guys saw that interview.
Yeah.
He did not look in that good of a headspace, but if you can get, I've been following his Instagram and his Snapchat just for the purest fact of I want to see if he's getting in the gym. I want to see if he's training, because if he's training, man, I'm fully on board for a Nick Diaz comeback. He's not that old.
He still like does like, I'm pretty sure he still like spars or at least boxes or something with Andre Ward, right? Like on a regular basis, because those guys are fucking cool. Apparently, I didn't know that. But they're tight, like really tight. Like, I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, I did know that, but I don't know, man. If Nick actually gets in the gym and he starts training all that stuff, I'm looking at his Instagram and he looks. There's no way that man can make 170 right now. But, yeah, if he gets in the gym and he starts training, I have no problem with that being like a co-main, maybe like 185, just for Nick, because it'd be short notice.
Yeah, it's a little exhibition, you know what it's up.
Yeah, I think Jorge wins that fight no matter what, but, I think that'd be a really cool thing to have on there if it's going to happen.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
But I think we spent a long enough time on this one fight, because we have loads of other stuff to get into. So now we're going to move on to the world of the National Basketball Association. And the big news. We have a couple of topics. First off, Carmelo Anthony is currently in the middle of his Comeback Player of the Year season. He's currently averaging 16.6 points, 5 rebounds, and around 2 assists. Angel, have you watched any of the Blazers games? And if so, what are your thoughts on Carmelo's kind of actual resurgence?
I haven't actually gotten to watch a game. I haven't really gotten time to watch an actual NBA game. I've been wanting to. I'll pull it up, I'll start it, but then I end up getting caught up doing some other stuff. But I try to keep up with scores, stat lines, overall standings of throughout the whole season and what's kind of going on and whatever, right? But him, I saw that from his first game to his second game, he had an improvement though. So I was like, there we go. That's what's up. That's good. So I'm happy to see that, because that gives some hope to Carmelo. He's still here. He's still good. You guys let go of me. I'm here.
He's still looking really good, surprisingly good. Something I've noticed is he's helped them a lot.
That's what's up.
They've actually been winning games recently.
And that's what they needed. That's what they really needed, because they were a team that was doing really bad for what seemed like no reason, in my opinion. No hate. But at least I felt that way. I was like, I don't know. I don't think you guys should be doing this bad.
Well, they were the second worst team in the West, just statistically speaking, and the Warriors were the worst, which is kind of insane. But that's the way it was working out. Now, I think they've won maybe one or two in a row, and I know, just personally speaking, I watched their wins, actually. I've been watching highlights. I watched highlights of all the games, and I watched their wins. It seems like Carmelo's improved their spacing a lot. Like, he's actually helping the team, and he's trying on defense.
That's what they need. And at the end of the day, any team could use, good defense, because not everybody's gonna hustle their ass off. Not everybody's could be coming back and forth on both ends of the floor. And I think he's aware of I imagine he's probably aware of his age and all that now. So he has to do those tinier, more role players things, but still being the talent he is, still capable of creating offense,
Yeah, so good for Melo. I'm happy to see him actually back in the league. I mean, he sucked for OKC, but I'm glad to see he's on other teams.
He sucked for OKC.
In a way, he was a scapegoat, but on the other hand, he looked bad for us. Like, he tried to pretty much play the role of a spot-up shooter, and he couldn't really do that. He just missed most of his shots, and especially on defense, he was horrific. I remember in the playoff game against the Jazz, we actually benched him in the second half in Game 5, where he came back down from 30 points, and a lot of that was because Melo was on the bench.
Dang, that's pretty bad. It's a Jazz OKC's nightmare that season.
Yeah, that one was horrific. But I remember saying that it was going to be a lot closer in the series than people thought, because I'm like, I've watched this team, man. We have no Roberson. By the way, Andre Roberson might be dead for all I know. That guy just straight up grabbed the bag and then dipped after his injury, so I don't know, man.
Sometimes it's like that, bro. Sometimes you just get one and get another. I feel bad. The OKC's been had a lot of players who just got injured, dude.
Honestly, the thing about OKC right now is just, honestly, I have no problem with the losses. I'm glad that this is the way that it's happening, because our team, our young guys are developing pretty nicely, and the pieces that we're looking to trade are looking good as well.
So there you go.
That's literally all we need, man, because we're not going to win that many games. And we looked pretty good at the start of the season, and we've completely collapsed, but we've been competitive in all of our losses. That's the one thing I want to see, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is literally my boy.
There you go. Told you.
But Andre Roberson's dead, so I don't know what to do about that, because I remember at the start of the season, everybody's like, yeah, he's going to be back, and he says he's going to be back at the start of the season. Nope. He grabbed the bag, and he grabbed, what's that girl's name? Rachel Demita, and then he dipped.
Can you even hate, though? The man secured the bag and secured the girl.
I remember seeing whenever they started dating, it was like one of the top posts on r/NBA. They're like, what?
That is pretty random. I mean, isn't he from some other country, or did he play in another country?
I think he played in another country, because I know he's from the U.S.
Okay, yeah, I think he played overseas, actually, at some point. I don't know. I think I might have looked that up. Could be incorrect. Just wanted to bring that up quickly.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think so, but I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. But, yeah, so I guess we can move on to another topic. The Lakers. Lakers have won 9 straight games tonight, looking to go for number 10. I'm just going to ask you, how many games do you think they win this year? Because I saw somebody on Twitter say that they're going to win 74 games out of spite.
74 games?
Yeah, somebody said LeBron's about to win 74 games out of spite.
I could see maybe like 50 or 60.
Revenge tour.
50 or 60 somehow, Because I feel like at some point there has to be an injury, or they're going to slow down. Because every team has, not necessarily a stint, but they lose a game or two here. Because even the Warriors in their regular season, when they were having their good years, I'm not talking about the year they had they had the best record in the NBA. But, prior to that time and after that time, I'd say that I don't know. I don't see that happening. It's a lot of games. I don't think LeBron's going to do that.
I don't know, man. They're on track to do some really good things. I'm surprised at how good they've been.
Oh, dude, same. I did not expect this out of them at all. I didn't think they had this good of a start. I thought they'd be more of a 50-50 split, But I was wrong. And I'm perfectly okay with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no coast this year. No Lake Coast.
Not at all. And it's not even just that. I just didn't think with the pieces they had, they were going to, make it work. But LeBron makes people better around him. Gerald Green has been really good for them. Just to, put a name out there. It actually makes me speechless because that was a big thing. I was like, I don't really think this Laker team is going to be better than the Clipper team, and they have been better than that Clipper team. I think all around talent-wise, though, that Clipper team is a million times better.
Oh, absolutely.
When all those people are healthy, they're all...
And better coaching.
Oh, yeah, and better coaching. And when they're all 100%, all cylinders going, that team is something special. So, when it comes to playoff time, I think the Clippers are going to be, keep an eye on. Lakers, we'll have to see once the lights turn on. Is LeBron's, mud team going to be able to put it up together? Wait, isn't that what he called the players? Mud? The guys who are misunderstood, underutilized. I forgot what it was.
Something like that.
Something like that. That was last year when they had what's it called? They had some of the other guys there. When they had Lance in them. Lance, who now plays in China, I believe?
Yes.
Which is weird, because Lance could very easily have an NBA contract.
There's a lot of guys I feel like that could, but they don't.
Oh, Jamal Crawford on, NBA
That's
Twitter.
insane to me.
A couple days ago, they wanted to see his...
insane to me.
He'll come back. You'll see. Someone will pick him up. What is it called, Josh? The Trailblazer shit. There you go. Another quick little Trailblazer pickup right there, picking up another quick little veteran there, helping them out, bringing them back, reviving their career.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Also, a quick little thing. Zion expected to come back December, so keep an eye out.
Thank God.
So there you go.
Because now the Pelicans have had all these primetime games for pretty much no reason, because he has been injured.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if you've been keeping track, but they've had the primetime games this year have sucked, mostly due in part to a lot of teams that we thought would be good, Blazers, Warriors, Pelicans, all having injuries and pretty much sucking. Not really the Blazers, because they have no reason to be bad, but they are.
Dude, the Pelicans they beat a pretty good team recently. Or they beat someone, and I didn't expect it, or I didn't see it coming. I was like, oh, whoever that is, they got in the bag, especially as the Pelicans are in.
Was it you guys?
I don't know. Someone, though. Oh, they played the Lakers. It was 114 win. That is a close game. I don't know if it was that one, but I'm pretty sure there's another game that was pretty recent.
I was actually about to bring that game up because this was the week of returns.
Oh, really?
AD coming back to New Orleans and putting up 41 points, 9 rebounds, and 1 assist in a win. And Kyrie completely no-showing his return to Boston.
He got scared.
Yeah, I saw. Did you see his really weird post on Instagram?
I didn't. What was it? I mean, it's Kyrie, so...
It was legitimately an essay on about how... Honestly, I couldn't even... I stopped reading 3 paragraphs in. I'm gonna be reading that.
Is it the one he has under Truth 2 days ago?
Oh, maybe. Is it... Hold on, I can tell you.
Does it end with life?
Think so. Yes, it does.
Okay, yeah, I see. That's very long. I'm not going to try to read it, but yes, I see it. And he just posted that randomly at some point?
He posted it after the game, then he no-showed. I say no-showed. They gave him the trip off, but there's nothing wrong with him. And also, he's not playing Boston this week when they're coming to Brooklyn.
He's shook.
I think he is, man. Normally I hate it whenever people are like, this guy's shook, he's scared, but like, there's no reason for him not to be, playing. But, he isn't playing, so.
Just on some bitch shit.
Hey man, you said it, not me.
Hey, man, I mean, it's true, right? He's not under any sort of, he doesn't have any health issues or problems, and
No,
man,
not this shit.
exactly. So I don't know why he's not there. I'm just gonna be honest and lay it out like how it is.
But Brooklyn's actually been pretty good lately. They've worked themselves into being a 500 team.
That's what's up. It's good.
And then in the shit show of the battle for the 8th seed, Orlando is currently sitting at 7-10, and they're sitting right there. On the heels, though, is Washington at 6-10, Charlotte at 7-12, and Detroit at 6-12. So you never know.
Let's be real. It's a battle between 13 and 8, because the Cavs are 15-13. Josh, don't lose hope.
Dude, it's a battle between everybody. Because, dude, the Knicks are 4 games out.
Oh my God.
Dude, they just need one streak, man. They just need one streak, and they are sitting at the 8th seed. And then Stephen A. can be happy.
Dude, the Hawks died, dude. Quick little thing. I'm pretty sure it was after the John Collins, 25 game suspension. I forgot why.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember what it was for.
But dude, the Hawks are 4-14. They were doing okay. Like, I remember, damn, the Hawks are killing it, bro. And then they're 4-14. I'm like, man.
They've lost 8 straight games.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
bad.
It's been bad. No, it's not good. I was like, man, the Hawks, this is their year, bro. The Hawks are about to take that step as a young team.
This is their year.
And no, not at all.
Nah, fam. They're not taking that step this year. Maybe they would have if, Collins didn't get suspended. I think if Collins doesn't get suspended, they're probably in the 8 spot right now.
They'd probably have a couple more wins. That's their forward, so that's him guarding a lot of good people and also him scoring against a lot of good / maybe bad people as well. But I feel most teams generally have pretty good forwards. I feel like the only team that's maybe forward weak is probably Portland and the Warriors, and maybe the Suns and all of them. And I mean, it's very few, but there's some. But yeah, he'll be. I don't know. I just saw that. I was like, damn, the Hawks are really just doing shitty now. I was like, man, the Hawks were. This was the year, man. This is the year they take that second step and they become that good young team, but not anymore.
I wish, man, because I would love to see them in the playoffs.
That's a good Hawks team. They're good guys. They don't need time. I'm not worried about them. They've been bad for a long time. It's not a big deal to me. Not a Hawks fan, but I think the Hawks are cool. So that's that.
So that's that. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about in the NBA?
Off the top of my head, no. Zion's coming back soon. Aiden's suspension's is ending soon. I think Collins is still a good distance away. So there's just kind of some little news there.
Yeah, Collins is pretty far away. I know that happened a couple games in the season.
Okay, so yeah, he'll probably be back at the start of 2020.
Something like that, around there, yeah.
So yeah. And then Zion's coming back soon. Quick little thing, dude. LaMelo. I saw LaMelo. I actually, NBL gets streamed on Twitch. Officially, not illegally, surprisingly. I don't know if there's a deal there or something.
I would assume so. I know some leagues do that.
Well, and it's through the NBL, NBL Twitch channel, too. And I saw it, dude. Melo's looking good, bro.
Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about, he had a really good game lately.
He had a really good game. He took the team into overtime, killed it in overtime, and he's maturing a lot as a player. Let me tell you that quickly there. I know we don't usually talk about, future NBA prospects, but I think, LaMelo is probably one of the more, when it comes to players, hyped up players prior to him entering the NBA for a number of reasons, mainly because of his father and his family, whatever you want to say. But he's always been in the media, kind of slowed down after a little while, but he's still around. Obviously, the Ball family's still a big name when it comes to, I feel like, basketball talks. So, I ended up watching a game, and he looked really good. He's maturing a lot as a player. Shooting's gotten better. Floater's looking great. Defensively, just super active. It's really strange. I didn't think I'd see him that actively on defense, but he was. I think that's credit to him being in a league where coaching, I'm not to say coaching is a big deal, but I think maybe in other leagues outside the NBA, coaching and schemes and all that, it's maybe a bigger deal because of the smaller talent pool. Or, lesser talent outside of the NBA, so they had to work with maybe a little bit less. I don't know. no hate to those bigger, smaller leagues outside of the NBA, but it's just different, And I saw him he was growing as a player, and I thought that was good. And hopefully, when he comes to league time, and he gets a nice little draft pick for himself, and it looks good. So good for him. A lot of draft experts have him as like a number one guy. So going forward, we'll have to see. That's kind of cool though. Him playing in Australia and playing overseas, multiple times now in his life. Kind of exciting stuff. So we'll see. Draft time is still a good distance away, and college basketball just started recently. So there we go.
Yeah, I saw that he's been doing really, really good, and I'm happy for him because
had a lot of shit to deal with, dude.
He's gone through a lot of shit. Just in terms of, well, obviously situation with college basketball, not playing in college, and honestly, I dislike a lot of his dad's moves for his career, but, it's his dad, it's kind of hard to judge it. It's a family thing, so I've disliked how his dad's handled his career, but the fact that he's still rebounding to be a top guy, like looking to be a top guy in the draft, obviously we don't know yet, but he's looking really, really good.
I think it's pretty secure at this point. It's just a matter of him getting there, and, obviously pick night going down and his name getting called. Yeah.
But I'd say like he's looking pretty secure as like a top 5.
Oh, that's what it's looking like. I've looked at some of the other guys and they're pretty interesting. I don't know too much about them all off the top of my head, but just know I think this draft class is going to be pretty decent. We have, I wouldn't say a crazy amount to look forward to, but nothing bad for sure.
Agree. I say agree as if I know a damn thing about college basketball, but agree.
I wouldn't say I know a lot, but it's just like looking at tiny, a couple things here and there. I think, and what I've heard and videos I saw way back when, I think we should be good.
Yeah.
So everybody out there, just know we got some good stuff coming.
We have some good stuff coming in the future in the world of the NBA. You ready to move on to boxing, my man?
Sure, my guy.
All right. So last Saturday night, Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz, the supposedly 40-year-old man. This fight went, I'd say, pretty. I don't know how you describe it in terms of our predictions, but Ortiz came out boxing, man. He came out boxing him up. He was throwing a lot. Wilder was just kind of pumping the jab out there. He sets up a lot of stuff with his jab. And really, he didn't throw kind of anything. And whenever he did throw, it wasn't really landing. And I saw some people say that he was just trying to lure Ortiz into a false sense of security, which kind of makes sense, but he still didn't throw much. And Luis Ortiz looked really, really great technically, but it only takes one, and in the 7th round, he sent him to the shadow realm with the one right hand, and that was all it took. It looked like Wilder got rocked right before that, but it didn't even matter. His power is insane, and he put him down. Like, the first fight was, TKO, wasn't that bad. It was like, I believe it was a standing one, if I remember correctly, after he dropped him twice. This one, Ortiz went down flat on his back, head hit the ring. This is a straight up knockout, and he tried to get back up. I wish they would have just waved it off, probably because of the Fury fight, and we've seen some crazy stuff recently in the world of boxing. He gave him the chance to beat the count, but he couldn't. And Deontay Wilder, and still the WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Andrew Ortega. What do you think about Deontay Wilder's performance Saturday night?
Quick little thing, dude. I thought he was getting caught, dude, with some of these hits that King Kong was throwing Josh. Like, I wouldn't say I was worried, but I'm like, this isn't looking good. But this is heavyweight boxing. This is fucking Deontay Wilder. This is the Bronze Bomber. Bomb Squad. I'm not, gonna lose hope on Deontay Wilder, dude. And it ended up being right about that. But dude, I don't know if you watched it, right? You watched all of it, right?
Yeah, I did.
He was getting caught with some of those hits. Like, he wasn't hurt, but I was aware, we were all aware.
Tagged.
He's getting tagged, yeah. And we were all aware that and Luis was aware that he could hurt him, because he did. He hurt him in the past. So I was like, this isn't, I don't know. I'm not a fan of this. But I'm like, I'll wait, I'll be patient, all in due time. And as time went on, it slowly started working his way in there, but it wasn't anything good. And it was weird. A lot of the judges had Deontay Wilder. If I remember right, Josh, do you remember the scorecards? Can you pull those up? I don't know if you have them off the top of my if you know them off the top of your head, if you haven't pulled them.
Off the top of my head, I know one judge had it 57-55 for Ortiz, and the other two had it 1 round for Wilder. I don't know the exact rounds in those cases, but I know off the top of my head it was like 57-55, and then. But anyways, all 3 had it severely in Ortiz's favor.
Yeah, so that was another thing. I was like, I don't have Luis winning this on any opponent. I don't think he's won many rounds, or I don't think Deontay's won many rounds. So that was another thing that worried me, because I'm like, if this happens to go to distance and it ends like this is not good. Luckily, though, he found his, he set it up, he found it, and he hit him with it. And dude, this man, his jaw like dropped. It was something special, dude. Let me tell you that, because I was in shock of how it went down, dude. Because I was just like, oh, that just happened. Because it was so sudden, and it was so quick too, dude. Like, and when it happened, it was like, oh shit, okay, we're here now. And he wasn't able to beat the count, like you said, and I mean that was that. It was insane. Credit to him though, it was a nice little another knockout, another one in the books. He said he's looking to unify Josh, so after he's done with Tyson, if that does happen, which I think it will, he's looking to fight whoever wins out of AJ or Andy, if he beats Tyson.
Yeah, so I guess we can just kind of move on to that Fury news, because I believe it was officially announced by, I don't know whose promoter, but contracts are signed, okay? And I was somebody who's skeptical of the Fury rematch happening, considering he's been fucked off to fight 2 guys outside of the top 50 and then went to WWE, and then he started talking about MMA. So I was pretty skeptical that it was even going to happen. I thought he was just kind of dicking around. It's a very Tyson Fury thing to do. And, but nah, man, it's signed. I believe February 22nd is the date. Obviously, the WBC title for Wilder will be on the line. The lineal heavyweight championship will be involved in it. I know a lot of people don't care about the lineage. I think the lineal heavyweight championship is probably the coolest thing, because it's literally tracing it all the way back to the 1800s. I love the history of that. I love the history of boxing, and I love stuff like that. So, I care about the lineage, and a lot of people don't, though. So some don't see it as like an official title. Yeah, so honestly, after seeing Wilder's performance, and after seeing Fury's most recent performances, am I crazy to think that am I the only one that's like more secure in Wilder winning? Like, I feel pretty confident that he's going to get the job done a second time.
Oh yeah, dude. I think he's more prepared now. I think he's aware of what he's coming into now. I think he should have a lot better understanding of what he's facing. You know what I mean? And then he's fought, a lot better, or what in theory was a lot better opponents than what Fury's fought recently. So I think going into this fight, he's pretty confident with his, opponent's decisions and what he's chosen to take on. So, I mean, it's looking like Wilder's about to take it, dude, and he's looking to unify. So we'll have to see. Is he really, looking to get that all-time great, title, I guess you could say. You know what I mean? Like, go down in the history books type of situation.
Yeah, he's already in the history books, because I believe that only in like the present era of kind of boxing, ever since we've had all of the heavyweight titles. I watched a video about this, Rummy's Corner, great YouTuber for boxing if you guys want to find somebody good. In the present day of boxing, with all of the titles, he's only the 3rd one to surpass 10 title defenses. Yeah. The other 2 being Lennox Lewis. It wasn't Lennox Lewis, what the hell am I saying? It was, oh shit, who was it? I know it was, Klitschko and one other, and I'm really pissed off myself because I forgot. It might have been Lewis, but don't quote me on that. No, there's no way it was Lennox Lewis.
Just throw a name out there, fuck it, we'll believe you.
I could just throw one out. No, it wasn't Larry Holmes.
Could it have
I
been
don't know.
Vitali? Do you think it was Vitali? No.
Nah, it wasn't Vitali. But anyways, yeah, he's one of the three though, in terms of having.
It's very few. Yeah, I know that. I was
Very,
aware
very
of that.
few.
I knew that. Surprisingly, I knew that.
Yeah, but even if we're talking overall history, past 10 defenses, there's only like around 9 or 10 in the heavyweight division that have done it. So he's already in that historical category. And some people are talking about him the hardest puncher ever, and I'm on that category. Like I'm in that field of. He's up there with Foreman and Shavers and Tyson to a lesser extent. I never thought. Like, Tyson obviously hit hard, but a lot more of his thing was speed and the fact that he always caught you clean.
And was his hand Stonehand, dude? I forget his name. I know it's not a heavyweight, but knockout wise, just
Yeah.
I forget his real name, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Or hands of stone, yeah.
But I'm talking more like I'm more or less talking about like the heavyweight division in terms of the harder punchers, and I think.
But being a harder puncher historically, though, I mean heavyweights have been the most, but I'm just saying, Hand of Stone was one of those guys who kind of was able to surpass, in his weight class, knocking people out. Yeah,
I get that. But listen, man, I think the Wilder Fury 2 fight, and obviously we're gonna have to talk about it more whenever that time comes, which is surprisingly not that far away from now. All the big fights getting announced are coming up really soon.
Early in the year, yeah.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about big fights in a minute. But listen, man, I have a certain way of looking at this, and a lot of people are like, I never thought that Tyson Fury got robbed in the first one. I actually scored it a draw, which a lot of people.
I know, same. It's 2 knockdowns.
2 knockdowns. I thought he took 4 rounds, and I get 2 knockdowns, and that's I don't know if the exact math adds up on that, but it should add up. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know. I feel like it should too. I felt like it made sense. 2 knockdowns, the guy somehow magically got back up. I felt like we needed another one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people that scream robbery just kind of get lulled into the idea by Tyson kind of showboating. Because if you look at the statistics of that fight, a lot of those early rounds could have gone either way. And I had Wilder taking some of those early rounds along with the knockdowns in 9 and 12. And it wasn't until those later rounds that he kind of started to figure out Tyson's movement. And to me, that's a big reason why I'm picking him in the second one. Because he started to figure out that movement. And listen, man, Tyson Fury he needed the grace of God and a miracle and a slow count in order to survive that 12th round with Wilder. I don't think he gets that a second time around. And that's no disrespect, because I love Tyson Fury and I think he's great, but I don't think it happens. I don't think he could do it.
Oh no, it's tough out here, man.
But then, obviously, we have and then after that, hopefully, God forbid, if he doesn't, the winner of that needs to fight the winner of Ruiz Joshua too. I don't care who it is.
Oh, dude, that's the fight to make. You can't delay that. I feel like you just need to set that up for the end of the year, close out the year with that, have him have that long-ass camp. I feel like that makes the most sense. You unify at that point. I feel it'd be a mistake not to make that, early on.
Yeah, I just really hope they don't dick around, man, because I wanted to see, I don't even care who wins, honestly. Actually, I don't give a damn who it is. I don't care if it's the winner or the loser. Wilder needs to face the winner of Wilder Fury. Actually, you know what? Just do this. Match up the winner with the winner and the loser with the loser. And that makes as much sense as anything else.
True, but the thing is...
That won't happen, but...
I know. If AJ... The thing is right now, if AJ loses, that's a big fucking deal, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's already a big deal that he lost, but what I'm saying is if he loses a second time, maybe even in the same fashion...
Which I honestly think he does.
I mean, I would say not as embarrassingly. I think he'll be more prepared, but I think it happened, and you know what I mean. I thought it was pretty embarrassing, personally.
It was pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get into all that because we could save all that for next week, which is coming up. But a lot of that build up was kind of the talk about how fat Andy was. He came in less in shape than he did for his previous fight. I understand it was short notice, but obviously, that has nothing to do with the skill, but the fact that he lost to a guy that looked like that, and it went viral, and there's a lot of talk about how he's making his mark as one of the greatest heavyweights ever, and I saw him talking shit to Lennox Lewis before that fight. It just didn't seem like his mind was all there in terms of Ruiz, and he got knocked out badly.
No, he did. He did. Most definitely. Dude, I mean... mean, that's not here yet, but I think when it comes to setting up fights, like, you need to unify at that point. Like, no matter what, whoever wins that fight needs to fight Deontay. That makes the most sense. You know, you gotta, because one of them's gonna have all those titles, and the other one has WBC, and, you know, you just need to unify. Whoever wins between Tyson and Deontay needs to fight the winner of AJ and Andy and unify at that point. Unify the division, find out who's the best heavyweight, because I think that's how we'll know who the best heavyweight in all the world is. I really do believe that.
Absolutely. I can't wait for that. But in terms of the greatest boxer on the planet, Angela, are you excited for Floyd Mayweather coming back to fight a UFC fighter in 2020?
Or he fights someone. Let's put it like that. Fight someone. We don't know what it's going to be yet. He's talking to Dana, but fight someone. We know that.
To kind of, I'm not sure if you saw this report, and it could be bullshit because it's TMZ Sports, but TMZ, as much shit as people give them, generally are kind of on the money when it comes to breaking a lot of news. They said that he's going to fight, the two fights that he's looking at is Pacquiao #2, and then a UFC fighter.
Pacquiao #2, dude. What if he got Canelo #2?
Oh man, I'd love to see that. I think Canelo sleeps him though.
You think? You think brand new Canelo sleeps a old Floyd?
42-year-old Floyd has not had. I remember I saw people of his training camp talking relatively recently about how he didn't even train for the Conor fight. So it's like one of those things, like, he didn't even train for it, which, you know, that sounds impressive on paper. But then you realize, let's say he comes out of retirement in 2020, he's not had a real training camp in 5 years. If he goes up against Canelo, who's in his prime right now and is sitting at very nicely at, like, what, 185? Yeah, probably around there. I think he sleeps him.
Hey man, but you know, Floyd be on some bullshit. It'd be like, come down to my weight class. You know what I mean? Type of situation.
Yeah, but I do wonder who would Floyd face from the UFC? Because there's no way they can do Conor #2, and Habib's tied up.
There's no way. There's no way Dana lets him fight someone that good.
Absolutely.
They bring CM Punk back.
Well, apparently it's going to be in a boxing ring. It's not going to be an MMA fight.
Oh, so he's going to fight a UFC fighter and
in boxing.
In boxing.
I can only assume he's broke.
Except that there's no way. And if he has, holy shit, how do you spend that much money? The thing is,
you've seen them. You've seen how much money that guy spends.
I know, but even then, the thing is though, fuck, who would he fight? The thing is, and I'm guessing Dana's gonna be the big promoter for that boxing match. It'd be the Eddie Hearn equivalent, but for Mayweather.
Well, Dana's wanted to get into boxing.
Oh, so he's
starting up Zuffa Boxing.
Oh, okay, so he's starting his own promotion.
And they're probably bringing in Floyd to kind of, like, not spearhead it, but they've worked together in the past, and Floyd's like, this is going to be another easy $100 million to face whoever.
I don't know who you do. Because he's looking at Pac-Man 2, right? You know, probably in Saudi Arabia.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. That's probably, holy shit, dude. Pac-Man's having a good retirement check.
By the way, I think Pacquiao beats him at their rematch.
We hope, because wouldn't that be nice?
But also, I saw a report that said Pacquiao's not even looking at Mayweather right now. He's looking at either Mikey Garcia or who was it?
Mikey off a loss.
Mikey off a loss. Danny Garcia.
Without a title.
Or Sean Porter.
No, but what's his name? Earl Spence is looking at Danny, but Danny's like on a mini win streak. I don't know.
Errol also just got in a car accident.
So Earl's not fighting.
Almost died.
Yeah, back in 2020 though, he said himself.
Yeah, but that's best case scenario. We'll see. I mean, he could. Let's hope he stops drinking and driving.
That was a really good match though. Earl versus Sean. That's what it went down, right?
Yeah.
That was really good.
And I guess Manny said, but the report was either Mikey or Sean Porter.
I really can't blame Manny though for not wanting to take the Floyd fight because he's on a pretty good route right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he probably just wants to separate himself from that. He probably wouldn't have a problem with it. Like, if Floyd said he wanted to face him after, like, let's say he lost to Jeff Horn or something, I'm sure Manny would take it. But right now, Manny has the upper hand.
Yeah, because he has a title, and plus that, if Floyd wins,
I don't think Floyd's gonna try to unify anytime soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Floyd's defending against fucking Max Holloway or something.
So who does he box, Josh? What MMA fight?
See?
First of all, it's gonna be a big name. It can't be a small name.
See, that's the problem, right? Because they can't do. Nobody wants to see Conor 2. Nobody wants to see that rematch with Conor. I mean, I'd watch it, but there's no way nobody could ever sit down and sell it as an actual fight.
Shit, someone could, and I'd watch it.
Oh, I'd absolutely watch it, and I'd probably come to your house and watch it on your fucking nice TV instead of in my room.
Yeah.
Throw you out of the house for watch it with your dad. No, but fucking, there's no way they could sell it again, right? Okay, so here's the problem, is I guess Khabib wanted to box Floyd. Khabib wanted to do that. He wants to strive for greatness and all that bullshit. Something about being an athlete. I don't know.
Khabib is tied up, though, with, I'm guessing,
Tony.
Yeah, Tony, and Khabib might fight twice in that year already, right?
Yeah. I mean, but honestly, okay, here's the one thing I want. I don't care what happens. I need to see Tony, Khabib. I need to see that. If Khabib beats Tony, he can fuck off and go fight Floyd. I don't care. Like, he can go do that, because a lot of guys do it for money. Khabib is that guy that I respect a lot, because he doesn't seem to care a whole lot about the money aspect. Otherwise, I'm sure he would absolutely be like, I want that Conor rematch. No, he's like, I want to face Floyd. I want to strive to be the best in boxing, too, because I'm the best at MMA. And I respect that on a big level. I think he gets tooled, though.
Dude, but Khabib ain't even a striker. No hate.
No hate. I mean, his striking is a lot better than people think, but it's still secondary to his wrestling.
Yeah, well, he's not a specialist in it. You know what I mean? He's no Israel. Let's say it like that.
Yeah.
Let's just say, because if Israel went in there, at least I know Israel he can box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, even like I would have faith in that. You know, there hasn't been a world class boxer who's come into MMA, right?
There were a couple.
Not kickboxer, like boxer.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, there was a couple, but they were kind of in weird matchups, so we never got to see them. James Toney, I'd say, is the biggest example, but he fought Randy Couture. This is post Tony's prime. I mean, it was also post Couture prime, so it made it kind of fair. It was supposed to be boxing versus MMA.
Oh, okay.
And Tony got absolutely tooled. I'm not sure if you saw that fight, but
Hold on, I'm bite of it. I just don't know.
yeah, it happened in 2010. Tony got taken down immediately, and Randy beat the shit out of him for 5 minutes, talking shit to him the whole time. Because I remember James Toney was going after the UFC and going after Dana, and he got that big payday, but he got absolutely tooled, made look like an idiot. And I love James Toney, but that was a really bad look. And then the only other big one I could think of, actually I have two more. Ray Mercer knocked out Tim Sylvia. And I see a lot of people, because, you know, boxing and MMA fans are some of the worst people on the planet, so they'll squabble about which of their fighters are better. And I see from the boxing side, I'll see them bring up Ray Mercer knocking out Tim Sylvia, in which case I always bring up the fact that Kimbo Slice submitted Ray Mercer in a round.
Oh my god.
Kimbo Slice. Nobody remembers this because it was amateur, and it was Kimbo's first amateur fight. He submitted Ray Mercer with a guillotine.
Are you saying those, fights behind his house were not amateur fights, Josh?
You know what? You're right. You're completely right.
Alright, that's what I thought.
The only other one I can think of, he fought De La Hoya. I can't remember his name. He was a Cuban guy. I love Ricardo Mayorga. I believe that's his name. He had 4 MMA fights, and I believe he only won 1.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Ricardo Mayorga, who, by the way, is the most washed boxer of all time right now. But yeah, I know that he went ahead and had a couple MMA, and I know he won 1 TKO, but I think that was overturned. And then he lost the other 3.
Fuck. Okay. Now, who could it be, dude? I can't think of anybody.
Okay, so off the top of my head, there are a couple of candidates I could see. Depending on what time Floyd does this.
It's not Cejudo, right? Cejudo definitely not.
I mean, he's small enough. I mean, you know, he fights. What would Floyd be coming back at? I'd guess Floyd would come back at 140-ish, 145. If I had to guess. Somewhere around there. I don't know weight classes in boxing, but somewhere in the 140s.
Just throw it out there like that. Let's just say
Yeah,
Floyd weight. You know, we know.
Floyd weight, because he could fight anybody. Cejudo would be interesting. But I don't think he's a big enough star. But I mean, it sucks too, because Cejudo is. I'd love to see him going back and forth with Floyd Mayweather. That'd be hilarious. I don't think Max is not a big enough star, and he's lost recently. They'd have to promote it as somebody who's been looking phenomenal. Khabib would make sense if he was not tied up with Tony, but he signed that contract to fight Tony in April. So he's at least taken care of until April onward, and Khabib doesn't fight that often. Conor already fought Floyd and was made to look like a fool, so you can't really do that one unless he completely knocks out Cerrone and looks phenomenal. And you could probably promote it that way. I don't know, man. Nate and Nick are too big.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a smart choice. Obviously, they have the help of once again the man Andre Ward, undefeated boxer. But even then, I don't know. I don't think I would want to see that.
What's Ronda Rousey doing?
Intergender champion. I guess you're right.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like, the only big enough star from the UFC is honestly Conor Khabib, and Khabib's tied up, and Conor already lost to him.
I don't know what Dana's gonna do, bro. Dana's gonna have to figure something out, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even. Because if you go through all of the guys at 145 and 155, even 135. You know who I would have loved to see, but this can't happen now. I would have loved to see DJ go for it.
Oh, yeah, no, that can't happen now, sadly. But that would have been interesting. They go to MMA, tries to takes on Floyd.
Yeah, one of the goats of boxing. I think DJ's probably the second best fighter of all time.
That's tough though, but I think DJ wouldn't do bad though. You know what I mean? Because DJ's a smart guy.
Floyd right now, I think he'd still lose, but he'd look better than people would think. It wouldn't be like a Conor situation, because Conor looked good, quote unquote, because Floyd let him punch himself out.
Oh yeah. I'll credit to Conor though. He didn't look that bad, but
yeah, it didn't look terrible, but
not the best either.
Yeah, man, I don't know who they could even set up for that. Like, we ran through all the names.
Yeah, no, there's not like one clear name. I think if anything, it just makes sense for him to promote fucking Pac-Man versus Floyd. That's it.
Yeah. But Floyd's only here for money fights, and the only two that are around that size and make the most money are Khabib and Conor. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. We don't even know if this will actually happen, because Floyd's a complete and utter.
Well, I mean, there's pictures of him hanging out with Dana, and it's compared to the other times, like it's pretty. It's getting more coverage. It's pretty out there. So I think he might be actually for it, Josh. I think this is.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that he posted on Instagram about it, and the UFC and Dana White reposted all those pictures, announcing it, making a big deal about it. It was everywhere, because Floyd's never done something this publicized. So.
Yeah, because even with the whole Pac-Man thing, like, it was getting media coverage, but no promotion was talking about it or anything.
Pacquiao didn't really address it.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
This is the first time he's actually outright said, I'm officially coming out of retirement, and it actually got, publicized by somebody other than Floyd, just talking.
And it's being talked about a lot.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting.
So we'll see. Obviously, we'll keep everybody up to date on that. Whenever that maybe doesn't happen. We'll see.
I hope it happens. I mean, I think sport's more fun whenever Floyd's around.
He brings those money fights, Josh. That's why.
He really does. It just seems like it's a bigger deal, and that's something I miss. Like whenever something feels big, like a big event's happening. I love that feeling.
Oh yeah, no, for sure it did.
But I guess the final topic to talk about, and this is more of a personal thing. We've been talking about news and we've been recapping a lot. This is a personal thing, and it is most look forward to fight over the next 3 months. I threw out probably the biggest UFC title fight going on over the next 3 months with Usman and Covington. I threw out Ruiz Joshua 2, which is happening next week. I threw out Conor versus Cowboy, which was just announced, and Fury versus Wilder 2, which was just announced. And I actually went ahead and went to Twitter this morning, right before we pretty much did this podcast, and I asked the Twitter community, which the Twitter followers, which only a couple people saw it because I did it right before we went live. And I asked, there are many big fights coming in the next few months. Which one are you looking most forward to? Conor Cowboy, Ruiz Joshua 2, Wilder Fury 2, or Usman versus Covington. Conor Cowboy won 50% of the vote. Ruiz Joshua 2 got 20%. Usman versus Covington got 30%. And no takers for Wilder Fury 2. I guess I'll let you go first, Angel. Of those 4 fights, of those 4 events, which one are you most looking forward to? Which one are you going to go to bed thinking about?
Here's something. I'm excited for... No, I'm just kidding. I was going to say something stupid. Definitely for me, at least personally, Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury 2, dude. After how the last fight ended, I think I need a solid conclusion. I think I'll get it this time around, and I would say I want to see a unification bout going forward. Whoever wins that bout. And I mean, I'm excited for that. I mean, honestly, I'm excited for all of them. I can't really choose. I just chose that one because I think because there was a lot of investment in the first fight. That kind of like sparked a lot of things for us. Sports wise. After that, it kind of brought me back to everything I liked watching. Just getting more active when it comes to watching anything sports related. So I think I'll choose that because it's home a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I respect that choice. And very quickly, I'm just going to go through explaining my thought process on why I'm going to choose or not choose. Ruiz Joshua 2, super excited for it. That one's awesome. I'm not that hyped because it's in Saudi Arabia, and I'm going to watch it, but it's also a daytime thing, and not many people are going to see it, and I don't know. Usman versus Covington, I'm excited for the trash talk, not excited for the fight itself. I honestly don't think that fight's going to be very, very good just due to their style. I don't think it's going to be a fan favorite fight. Conor versus Cowboy is honestly my pick, and I'll explain why in a minute. But Fury Wilder 2 is something I really desperately want to see, just because it'd be my runner-up position, because I love both of those guys. I thought their first fight was incredible. I loved the 12th round, Fury rising up from the dead to put on, to make it to the final bell was an amazing scene. But might as well say it's a tie between Conor Cowboy and Fury Wilder 2. Conor Cowboy is a fight that I've wanted to see ever since 2015, whenever those two were going back and forth on stage. And Conor was one of the fighters who helped get me into the sport. Well, I was a fan of the sport beforehand, but became so heavily invested into the sport itself, and writing about it and covering it. And honestly, it was just it's awesome to have him back. And if he's truly treating it like a season, we can be having more awesome fights. And all these fights can lead into something great, and I'm very happy that he's back. And I love Cowboy Cerrone too. And part of the reason I'm so hyped, only 6 weeks away. It's January 18th, the UFC 246, just right around the corner. And then after that, I'm sure we'll have Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather too. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. If you want to support us, you can go to the Amazon link, as previously stated, or you can go through Target. Target is having a bunch of amazing Black Friday deals right now as we are currently speaking. Get something you want from there. Buy through the link, buy online, or buy in store, and you'll be having a great time. They have a lot of great stuff over there. As always, thanks to them for supporting the podcast. I'm Josh, at Josh Evanoff on Twitter. He's at Angel_Ortega_01. Courtside Soundoff on Instagram, Facebook, Podbean, Spotify, YouTube, and at Courtside Sound 1 on our Twitter, which is our most used social media platform. The month of November has been the greatest month for the show in general since we started, and I think a lot of that has been due to big events, and big thanks to you guys for always supporting the podcast. But we're going to head out, so peace and butt grease. Mouse click.